father. I only had the Fire Nation's best interest at heart. I'm sorry I spoke out of turn.
You will fight for your honor. As punishment, he was banished and sent to capture the Avatar. Only then could he return with his honor.
If I have to, I will spend every day of the rest of my life hunting the Avatar. I know it's my destiny to capture him.
There will be no place left to hide.
We have a chance for a new life here.
Let the kid go.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We got a brand new Avatar: The Last Airbender Netflix teaser, news about Dante Basco coming back for the live-action series. So this is going to be a video all about why Prince Zuko is one of the best anti-heroes in TV history with one of the best redemption arcs. Of course, I'll be doing videos for the new Avatar: The Last Airbender series when it gets here. I'll be doing bonus videos, trailers, teasers, Easter eggs until we get there, so be sure to subscribe to get everything. So the big news is that Brian and Mike are trying to get Dante Basco to come back. They'll find a role for him. Obviously, he can't play Prince Zuko because he's so much older now, even though his voice sounds exactly the same as it did when he did the original voice for Prince Zuko. Early speculation, it'd be more likely that he plays a minor but significant role of someone within the Fire Nation, and because there isn't a whole lot of Fire Nation till Book 3, but even if his role isn't that big in the first season, I think they would at least try to get him in there for a cameo, for a little bit of fan service. And yes, they have met with a lot of the actors from the original series, but I'm not expecting every single original Team Avatar actor to come back in the new live-action series. But breaking down why the Prince Zuko character is so important and why he's such a masterclass in character development and why his arc was so successful, whereas arcs, say like in the Game of Thrones series with characters like Jaime Lannister, seem like they were getting a very Prince Zuko treatment, but just did not quite stick the landing as well as Avatar: The Last Airbender's Prince Zuko arc. The character himself is referred to as a wubby, characters that make you feel sorry for them even if they are villains, but aren't necessarily tragic heroes. The reason why Zuko is not a tragic hero is because his suffering is not the result of his own actions, it's because of his terrible father, Firelord Ozai, mistreating him. Even though his whole banishment at the beginning of Season 1 while he's searching for Aang is the result of him speaking against Firelord Ozai in court out of turn, the punishment did not fit the crime. So therefore, he's not a tragic hero in the traditional sense, but he is a character that you feel sorry for and an anti-hero. One of the most important things about him is his compelling backstory that you slowly learn about over the course of the series. He's Aang's enemy for most of the show up to Book 3. He's consistently denied approval by his father, Firelord Ozai. His mother left him at a young age. She had to because she killed Firelord Azula to save Zuko's life. He was only 13 when he was forced to fight his father and given his trademark scar. The way they portrayed that scar over the series also evolves with his character development as well. The whole reason for his banishment, the reason why he was scarred, because he spoke out against his father in a military plan that would have unnecessarily cost a lot of Fire Nation lives. Firelord Ozai wanted to throw a bunch of troops at a problem knowing that they would die needlessly, so Prince Zuko tried to stop him. The thing about his banishment, too, is that it was actually a snipe hunt from the beginning. Firelord Ozai did not think that the Avatar would come back. He was effectively banishing him permanently. He never expected to see his son again. You learn a little bit of this during Season 1, but because of the way they portray him in the first couple of episodes, he does come off kind of rough. One of the other key parts of his character development is the inclusion of Uncle Iroh, one of the other best TV characters in history, not just Avatar: The Last Airbender characters. Some would argue that Iroh is probably the best Avatar: The Last Airbender character, but the series is all about Aang. Zuko is the best anti-hero with the best redemption arc, so it is a bit of a battle as to who is the actual best Avatar: The Last Airbender character. Their big showdown at the end of the first season is defined by Iroh explicitly telling Zuko that he thinks of him as a son. The Season 2 premiere ends with Iroh and Zuko symbolically cutting their hair in their allegiance to the Fire Nation. That leads to one of the most important episodes for Zuko's character at the beginning of Season 2 after Avatar Day, where he essentially tells Iroh that he's going it alone, and you get the Zuko Alone episode. Through the course of that episode, he finally realizes how important Iroh is to his life, and he starts to break down. This is sort of his lowest point. He has a chance to capture Appa, but eventually lets him go, this act of mercy. So it's the beginning of the rise of Zuko, the beginning of his great redemption arc. But up to this point in the series, he's so defined himself by his Fire Nation heritage, his father, Firelord Ozai. He hates it so much, he hates himself. But during these episodes, he also learns that he's one half descended from Avatar Roku, so that sort of represents his good half. That's why the scar on his face is so important for his character development and representative of his two dueling halves. The scar representing his Firelord Ozai, his Fire Nation half, and the other half representing the good half of his character that descends from Avatar Roku. For most of the series, he hates the scar, but eventually comes to terms with both of his halves, reconciles those, and no longer hides it with his hair. So as funny as it sounds, his hairstyle changing through the series does denote his character development as it relates to the way his scar appears on his face. His journey during Season 3 is all about him coming into his own and learning about the larger context, what it means to rule, and why what his father is doing is wrong, and what it is that he's doing wrong. He starts to understand about how important Iroh is to his life and what he did during Ba Sing Se was wrong, and how it's not so much about Aang being the good guy, it's about how he wronged Uncle Iroh and how important he is to his life. As many memes have come out of the beach episode, that's actually the episode where he finally comes to terms with how angry he is at himself over his decision to betray Iroh. Eventually, he understands everything in its fullness. That's why it's such a huge turn for the character during Day of the Black Sun when he officially decides to join Team Aang and help Aang learn to firebend so that he can defeat his father. He's helping his former enemy defeat his biological father. He even has his Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader confrontation moment and comes out of it stronger. He redirects his father's lightning and leaves to go pursue Aang and join Team Avatar. He's effectively giving up everything he thought he ever wanted before his life-changing field trip, the approval of his father, a seat at the table, a chance at the throne. You have to remember that when he was joining Team Aang, he wasn't sure that they would ultimately be successful, so he didn't know that they would win and he would eventually become the Firelord. And right there at the end, the Ember Island players, probably the best recap episode of any TV series ever. It's great just as an episode by itself. It allows the characters to reflect on their journey, primarily with Zuko, and then with a little bit of help from Toph to reflect on his journey, realize that Iroh has loved and supported him this whole time. Then the two are finally reunited in the series finale, and Iroh silences Zuko's apologies with this tearful hug, one of the most emotionally satisfying moments on the entire show. And the thing that makes the payoff at the end of the season with him becoming Firelord and joining hands with his former enemy Aang in Brotherhood is that he's always struggled for everything. Nothing is given to him easy, even at the very end when he's forced to face his sister Azula and eventually takes pity on her. He's chosen the things that are most important to him, sacrificed his pride, dignity, and his beliefs along the way to find his redemption. It just shows you how down-to-earth and human he really is, but also how powerful the arc is. That's what makes the payoff so meaningful for his character at the end of the series. So let me know in the comments, why do you think that Prince Zuko is one of the most compelling characters in TV history, and who is your favorite Avatar: The Last Airbender character? And I know there's a lot of concern because the Netflix series is going to be a live-action Avatar retelling of the original story, but just remember that it's the original creators and a lot of the original team that are coming back to make these episodes, make it in the way that it should be made. And because this is a Zuko video primarily, here's Dante Basco reacting to the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. He says about what you would expect him to say.
The way I think about it is one thing. First and foremost, that's like the Voldemort movie. Like, he who shall not be named. But it's always someone up in here talking about Voldemort. But two, people hate the movie. A lot of people hate the movie. There's some people that think the movie's cool that don't really know the series. You know what I'm saying? So, it's one of those things like, so it's hard. And then young directors, you know, they really want to put their fingerprints on a project. It's just hard when you're going, it's already a big project. Like no one wants you to take Star Wars and change Luke Skywalker's name to like Luke. No one wants that. I haven't seen it, but people tell me like Aang's name is like Aang, and then it's like, why did you do that? It's like it's more. He said it's more correct. It's more correct to name him Aang. I go, then why is he white? It'd be more correct to make it, well, I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't try to pronounce his name more ethnically correct and then put him ethnically totally not correct. Like what? Can we do something? But again, I didn't see it, so See, now you're gonna be talking about Voldemort. The Death Eater's gonna come get me, all this stuff.
It's funny to hear him talk about the movie that way. He's sort of tiptoeing around things in as political a way as possible, trying to explain, yeah, it's not a good movie, without openly demonizing M. Night too much, because a lot of the people he tangentially might wind up working with later on, and it might wind up costing him some jobs, but he is trying to say that, yeah, it was definitely not a good movie. And because of all the Netflix marketing stuff that'll be going on next year, I wouldn't be surprised if you hear them getting asked a lot of questions about how this is going to be different from the live-action movie, like, how will this be better? Please explain to us. I will keep doing Avatar The Last Airbender bonus videos this year. There should be some more news about the Netflix series soon. We'll hear about casting, who's going to be the new Avatar Aang, who's going to be their Prince Zuko. Right now, I believe they're finishing their scripts, and then they'll probably finish their casting before the end of the year, maybe early next year. We should have some pretty big news relatively soon. While you wait for everything, click here for all my Avatar The Last Airbender videos, and click here for the brand new Rick and Morty Season 4 teaser trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.